Hi friends, welcome to WebJam. In this video, I'm going to discuss how to work with the collection in Power Apps. So, in my previous video, I discussed how we can create a collection. So, obviously, in variable, it is like a variable. So, collections are used or required to store the data in memory till the session of Power Apps is live. And you can create the items, you can submit the forms, you can collect it in the collection, you can review once, and then you can store to the data source before closing the application. So this is how collection. So we can say it is a way to manage temporary data within your application. To work with that, what we can do is let's create an app. Let me say start creating a blank canvas application. Okay, this will take small amount of time, and let me delete this container. I need a blank screen. That the screen is fine. If you want to design, you can design the screen from the properties and all. You can change the background image, upload, and even you can fill the color like this for your screen. But I don't want to do anything. Right. So let me add the data source here. So if I go to this and let me say add data. Okay. And if I go to the OneDrive from anywhere, you can OneDrive from anywhere, meaning from this or from this add data option, you can select. So I'll select this one. Then I will select this leave request form, and I would like to use this form. Once you select the form or once you select the table, so it will add the data source. Now you can create a form based on this. Okay, what I will do is I will go and create a form. I will say insert edit form. So I'm going to insert edit form based on this data source. Let me pick the fields now. So by default it will not pick, but email ID, leave date, this all these fields are required for me at least, right? So I selected, so control and all everything will be populated here automatically, and by default this form is in 3 columns. So go to the properties and click on the properties pane, open the properties and select the 1 column. Right, this is how form will be changed. Right. So now rest of the things, formatting and all everything you can do as you wish. And if you come here, you can see this is what the form, and all these elements are added to this form by default, meaning when we selected edit form and data source, all these fields got created automatically, right? But let's say we have to submit the form. Since this is a blank form, but we used edit mode, right? So if I play the application, you will see nothing on the screen. So because this form mode is the edit, right? So what I will do is I will go to the properties and I will say default mode and I will say new. Now to submit this form, I would like to use the button. Okay. And here on select, I will use the function called submit form and I will give the name as a form 1. The form name you should pass here. You will see the name here in the tree view. Okay, fine. So if you want to edit the properties of button, you can edit. Now let me play the application and you will be able to see this is how my form looks. Okay, if you want to add the border and all rest of the formatting, you can do as you want. So you can go to the properties and you can even select the border of 2 pixel with this color, right? So this is a form border. Headers and everything you can add as per your wishes. So I'm not going to design anything here. I'm just building a logic, or I'm just showing how to work with the collection, right? So if I use this form and if I go to this, okay, even what I can do is I can see the data. Okay, right. So on this screen one, we have a form. On the screen two, we will add the data table. So we should see the data here in the form of table from the data source, right? So these are the two rows I can see here from my collection. Okay, let me add one more since I selected this is a new. And see, when I submit the form, it should reset the entire form. I will say reset, and you can say form one. Okay, and even you can use the back function to stay on the same page. If you don't use this back function, it will make the page blank, right? So or reset is used with the specific input control. So you should say reset form and then form one as invalid argument. Why? There is error in the formula. Okay, let me remove this. Fine. Okay, because of mode. Okay, mode is there. It is new. We even modified that. And if I say reset form, and if I say form one, right, might be something else was not good, right? So it should reset the form. So when employee wants to create a new request, right? So this is what the email employee ID is like 10011, and let me pick. Even in the date picker also you can have the minimum maximum date. You can set that from the properties. Okay, let me run the application and select. By default it is showing today's date, and I will say this. Okay, so not today, but let's say tomorrow I want a leave, or maybe in the month of October, like this, I would like to take a leave. The name is, I will say demo name. Okay, and this is your demo email ID, and the reason is demo form submit, right? If I click on this, it will go and it will submit the data. Everything is resetted. We are still on the same screen. And if I go to the screen 2, you will be able to see there is a data got added. Right, this third row is added for the 6th September. Sorry, 6th October. Right, leave date and all everything. So we are able to submit the data using the submit form option. Right. But my requirement is that when someone create a new request, okay, it should be stored in the collection. It should be stored in the collection, and from that collection it will, meaning we are allowing user to review the request date, reason and all, and then it should go to the, meaning from after review it should go to the data source. This is how, let's say I wanted to build the application. So intermediate collection I would like to create, because that is not going to store the data anywhere, but it will create the data. It will save the data in the memory in the form of table, the way we have a form or we have a data source from the Excel. Similarly, it should show, it should save the data somewhere in the memory till the time the Power App station is live, meaning you have this application open or you are running this application. Once you close this will get uh, deleted. The data will be removed from that, right? So this kind of application we have to create. So since this is a new form, we are going to submit a new request. What I would like to do is I would like to create, instead of using the submit form, I would prefer to use here as a collect function. So collect is the function that is used to create a collection, right? So this is what the collection, and I would like to create the items, right? And inside the item, I should suppose to specify, so employee ID, okay, employee ID. And since there is a space between column names or column headers, so I have a two different words here in the say as in column headers. And if there is a space, if you are not replacing that space with underscore or something else or another character, you should use the single quotation, right? And then I'm going to map this uh, with the input, whatever the input is there. So if I go to the email employee ID input data card value 2, so I will say data card value 2 dot text, right? This is my first one. Then another one is the email, or I can say name. And this name should go to the, or should be filled from the field here. You can see this is email, this is ID, there is something called name, and name card data card value 3. So data card value 3 dot text, right? Then another one is the email, and inside the email, so email is coming from the data card value 1, looks like, yeah, data card value 1. So I will say data card value 1 dot text. So simply I'm trying to get the values, whatever the values user try to submit, and store that values in a collection, right? So now after that, let's say leave date. So I would say leave date, and leave date is like date picker. The leave date value. So I will say date value. So this is date picker actually, but date value dot date value 1, date value 1 dot selected date. And the last is leave reason, and leave reason is like the data card value 4, data card value 4 dot text, right? So this is how collection can be created using the collect, right? Because see, why we are using collect, every time when I try to submit the form, it should collect the data for the specific date, leave date, right? Rest of the fields should be same. Even what I can do is I can get these fields from the user details, so that user need not to fill. So I'll click on this, I'll go to the properties, go to the advanced, and see here unlock to change. You need to unlock the card, and then instead of parent, here you can say user, this is the user function dot, you can use the attribute as an email. Then inside the name, you can go and unlock. Okay, click on this. So from properties, you have an option to unlock the data card. Data cards are comes with the edit form only. So here again you will say user, and then dot full name, right? Employee ID, again I'll pick the employee ID default ID or unique ID of this row. So user dot and you can see enter object ID. So this ID is assigned to specific users, right? So these fields are there. See, once we are bringing the value from the any specific source and mapping it to the default, this will not get resetted, but yes, leave date and reason is a will be resetted from the reset from function, right? So now let me try running this. Even if I go to the here variables, if you see, there is something called a collection and it shows table 0 rows, nothing is there. So even if I say view table, it is a blank. Now let me try to submit the data from this. So this is what the user and all. Okay, leave request, I would like to take a leave on 13th of October. Reason is demo collection, right? And I will say submit. Now let me go back, and if I go to the tree view, if I go to the screen 2, here you can see nothing is getting submitted, right? So this is what the old data. But if I go to the collection, you can see it says there is a one row, and if I view this, so this is the data. This is what the data I submitted sometime before for the 13th of October, right? So we are successfully, or we have successfully created, or we are able to create a collection successfully, however he wants to. So we can run this application again to collect the more data. Okay, I would like to take a leave on the, let's say, 13th first of October, and this is like for the Diwali, right? And submit. This is not going to table, this is going to collection. Right, now I have a two rows. If I show you, this is what the Diwali is the reason for the 31st October. Right. So if I come back to this here, okay. So now we created a collection, but instead of viewing the data from the table or from the source itself, I would like to view the data. Okay, so let me data table, select the data table, let me reduce the size, and let me add one more data table on the screen too. So here I will say data table, and here I will select the collection. Then select the fields. Okay, all these fields. If I try to do this view and all in data table 2. Yeah. So you can see I have two options, and these are the temporary submitted. Okay, just wanted to show you this. I created, but we should not go with this data view, right? But collection is what something we are able to see here. So these are the leaves still yet to submit in the source. These are at the collection end. If I run out of this application, so let me save this application, demo collection app. Let me save this application. This application is saving. Let's wait. I will move out of this application, and again I'll open the application. So to show you what will happen. So if I don't submit this, so let's say leave. Yeah, I would like to leave the application. The session got ended. It is saying even it is closing the application. Now if I come back to the apps, and if I open this application, or if I run this application, Now, if I go to the collection, you can see the collection is not there. I submitted a data, but data is not there. Why? Because the session was ended. So for each and every session, this will be a new start. And this is how collection works. That's why I said it is a powerful way to manage the temporary data within your application. So that is nothing but a collection. So in memory, you can create table, you can modify it, and you can even use to store the data during to the data source from during the session. Okay, we will do that. Now let me run this application and all these things are fine for me. Let's say I would like to take a leave on 13th and reason is 13th of October. Let's say reason is Diwali, or I will say sick leave and submit. Okay, it gets leave date and reason it gets visited, then I will say family medical reason. Now I selected another date as the 20th of October. Right. If I come out of this and if I go to this screen 2, you can see these two are there. So we are able to submit the data to the source using the submit form. We are able to create the collection using collect function. Okay. So if you want to collect the data by clearing the older collection data, meaning see this is what then we should use the clear collect function. So before adding new data, it should go and clear the uh, previous collection data. That can be done using the clear collect function. So instead of this here, this collect function, you can use the clear collect also. But this will work little bit differently. So it will clear my old, okay, 1 second, not the data and all. Clear collect. Right, this is the function. If I use this, now if I save the application, okay, I always prefer to save the application first before running. And now if I select this, earlier I added 2 rows, right? And okay, if I say submit, okay, that clear collect, okay, that submit button has a error. That's why. Okay. And it says character formula content comma where parent is expected. Okay, the syntax for the clear collect is looks like different. No, it is same. Even see, it says there is an error. Fine, this is the one, this is the another one. This is the email. Let me say this is the this and this data card value 4 and this is what the back and this is what the reset function even. Okay, fine. What it says, unexpected character. Why this is showing, not sure. Contains comma where parent close is expected. And even if I use the collect only, oh, control Z, 2 brackets are there. That's why. Okay, everything was fine. But the data what I tried to submit not getting submitted. The function was not called. Now it is resetted and all. So now if I go back and if you see, it is showing me the only one data, right? So clear collect, always clear the data from the collection first, and then it will pick the new data. But I don't want to go with the clear collect. I just wanted to show you how this work or what is the difference between this. So let me use the collect only, because I wanted to collect all the data that users try to submit. Okay, now let me add one more, and this, okay, it's 11th dated September, let's say October, and I will say Diwali, submit, right? Even I would like to pick the 5th November, and okay, planned vacation, right? I would submit this. Now I'll have the three rows. Even I can see there, I can see here on the screen too also, right? So we are able to create a collection using the collect and clear collect function. Now, now let's say here, even after reviewing this data, okay, you can add this review screen on the another screen also, right? Or you can use the gallery also. However you want to use, you can use this. And now let me try to edit this. Okay, even there is no way. If I run this, if I select, okay, so I can select this, right? I can select this. So let's say I wanted to edit the item. What I will do is I will add an icon here to edit the collection, and I will make the selection of selected items. That what I can do. So I'll suppose to add the edit form. I'm just doing all those things here in the bottom only. Okay, and let me add the edit form at the bottom. So let me go to this, and this is the data source. Okay, source we have selected. Column I will make it as a one column, or yeah, two column is even fine. If I try to use this, the problem is, okay, I'll show you that. No issues. So after reviewing this data, let's say I might have selected the incorrect date, or maybe I wanted to update the reason. Rest of the fields are remain same. So I selected edit form. But whenever you work with the collection and all, you are supposed to design your form, use the container and design. So that will be a better approach. But here, if you want to add the fields from the collection, you will not be able to add. Collection is not going to infer the schema. It is just going to hold the data. And because of that, you will not see the list of fields here. But you can do that. But it is better. You can add the custom card. Inside this card, okay, this is my card. Inside this card, you can add text label. And even you can add text input. Right. So this is how things can be manipulated when you wanted to use the edit form with. Okay, so let me move this little bit up. Right, with the edit form with collection. So you can give this name here as an employee ID. Right. Here for this edit form, we have not selected the items. So what I will do is items is equals to data data table data table 2 dot selected. Right. And here, okay, now I selected the first one. That's why it is showing first one. Here I'll to demonstrate purpose, I will use here another field. Default is like this item, because see, we selected something as a source, meaning the selected item. So then this item is the one which we can use. So now if I run this, see, you can see this item, right? If I select this, it will change, right? This is going to change. Now, again, one more thing. I'm not going to update everything. I'm going to update only leave date and reason. So I will add two cards. Okay, this is the leave reason. So I will say not employee ID and all. I will say leave reason. Okay, this is the data card. Fine. Even if I click on this, make it a little bit bigger, and this is what the update. Okay, update form. So no worries. What I will do is I will say leave reason. This is the leave reason. And maybe I would like to add one more card. So go to the tree, select the form 2. This is my form 2. And if you select, go to the fields and add the one more card, add custom card. Okay, this card added. This is the card. Okay, let's reduce the size in so that it should fit inside the form. And here again, I will use text label, and I will use the date picker because this is the one we are using. Right. So here I will say leave date. This is fine. And by default, this is today, but I will say this item dot leave date. So it should pick the whatever I selected. So if I run this, now if I select the second item, it is showing this, right? So this is updating the form 2. This is updating the form 2. Now let me uh, modify this. If I move this down, and header, if I add the header here as an update collection leave request. This is just a name that I will use. Align it to the center. Increase the size of font and everything, whatever you want to set. I will make this as a 20, and design as per your wishes. The color text is like this. Okay, let me keep it white, and color. Okay, so there is something called a background color or fill, border, focused, font weight. text alignment, line height, display mode, edit. Okay. Okay. Here it is a fill. So I'll fill this dark color. Right. So this is how I can say, and I would like to submit the data. Okay. Now this is the screen we have designed. This is the source data. This is the collection data. Table 2 is showing the collection data. And we are going to, whatever I'll select here, it will show the leave date and planned vacation for that. So now what I want to do is I want to update the data to this specific collection. Okay. So earlier you might say, meaning I shown you how the form is submitted. But if you try to use the submit form, it is not going to work because we are not going to submit new data. We are not going to create a new record. We are, or even we are, submit form is used to save the data in the source, in the source only. Right. Here we used a collection. It is fine. That let me zoom in. If I go to the tree view, this is my form 2. And if I over this, so I used this, my leave request collection is used. Okay, everything fine. But submit form is used to submit the data. Now we have to update the data. Right, we have to update the data. So I will add the button. I'll go and I'll add the button here and say update update leave date or leave request. This is what the text. So whatever the request you wanted to update, you can use to select that. You are supposed to select the same request from the collection. Then you can update the leave reason and leave date. Right. But what it should do? It should go and it should update. Right. So to update the collection, okay, even how to modify the collection. To view the collection, we can simply use the gallery. This is what we show, or we can use the table also. I shown you with respect to the table, but instead of this, if you select the galleries, that is going to work, or data table. So I used the data table here, right? To add new record, we used collect function. But to update the record, we should use the patch function, right? So let me zoom in a little bit. Let me come out of this. I'll select this and I'll use the patch function because we are pretty much familiar with the patch, right? Here, what you want to update. So leave my leave request collection, I would like to update, and then it should go and look up for the source. Source is my leave request. Okay, the condition is like I can say condition is the employee id is equals to employee id from form 2, but it is not there, right? So I would say this record dot employee id, right? And I'm not going to pass the result and something, so I will say lookup is closed for me. And now I'm going to update. So what he wants to update? So here I would like to update leave date as the field is like form 2 date picker 1 dot selected date. So I will say date picker 1 dot selected date. Okay, and we will see how this will behave. Even leave reason, and I'm going to update the leave reason. This is the text input one dot text. So if I click on this here, I will say text input one dot text. Right. This is the formula that we are going to use to update the collection. Right. So now let me run this. Okay, this is again trial. Not sure how this will behave. So I wanted to change this test to this like demo update collection. Okay, and I will say using patch. Right. The date, instead of past date, I would like to select the 12th of November or 11th of November. Then before running this, I may want to say here that reset form and form 2. Okay, and even I would like to say back, so that we will stay on the same screen. Let me save this, and then I'll run. Once this gets saved, okay, it is saved. Now I'm running this. This is the patch. Okay, right, you can see the collection got updated. Here it is changed the reason. Now I will select this. Instead of Diwali, I will say Diwali holidays. Holidays. Okay, so this is, I selected this, but it got updated for this. Oh, the reason is like, okay, leave date and all, because the employee ID is same. So it is updating the first. Okay. Problem is that problem is that I should apply the condition for the leave also. Right. So this is the employee ID. Okay, employee ID is always same. It is not going to change. So I should use the leave date also. So let me say leave date is equal to this record leave date, because leave date will be the different, and employee ID is same. So it is getting messed up. So I select second Diwali, and Diwali I will say using, okay, even leave date filter. Even new leave date I will select as a 17. Okay, the first is getting updated. Now for 15 I will say Diwali test. Okay, so this is getting updated for the first one. The patch is working, but the problem is what? It is updating the first record only. Okay, so here instead of this, instead of this, so if I use the data card 2 or data table 2 dot selected dot not leave date, okay, and okay, the condition I supposed to give here. Mhm. So employee ID is equal to data table dot selected dot employee ID and and I should use the one more. So employee ID is fine, but employee ID is not going to affect leave date and reason. I can say leave date and reason. So to filter the data, this is how we should fetch the leave date. So selected dot leave date, and leave reason is equals to right. So I just wanted to make sure this works for the selected record only. That's why I used this kind of filter. So now I selected the third one instead of changed condition, changed condition based on selected values. Okay, and if I run this instead of this fifth, I will make it sixth and update. Okay, it got updated to the specific record, right? So this is what I want to do. So now I would like to update this date and all for the first record. So even if I say this is the one, okay, because of reset form, it is moving up to the first one. That's why I used to select. So I will say this is what the selected first one by default it is getting selected. And here Diwali test, Diwali updated. And let me run this. Okay, 17 and Diwali updated. This is how the collection can be updated, right? Using the patch function. We are using the simple patch function to patch the data, right? To filter the data, and we are just updating the specific column values. So we saw here how to add a record using the collect. If you want to clear the collection, you will end up using the clear collect, right? Then we used to see here how to use the patch function, how to use the submit function, submit form function, right? So patch and submit form, both are going to submit the data to the source, or patch can be used to submit the data in the collection, but submit form cannot be used. Submit form is going to work with the form control only when you select the edit form only. On in that case only it can be used. Otherwise, you are supposed to use the patch function, right? And patch can be used to add the data. Patch can be used to update the data. Since we are updating the data here, I used lookup. If you are creating a new data using this patch function, you are supposed to use the default and then the collection name. Right. Now I may want to remove the record. I may want to remove. Let's say you may want to cancel this, delete this. So we can do that one also. Okay. So what I will do is I will add the button. Any type of icon and all you can add. So let me go to the icon and I will say trash. Okay. And here I will put the trash. Okay. And when we select this on select, we supposed to do the remove. Okay. We should use the remove and then my leave request. And the item is like the selected data table 2 dot selected. That's it. Right. So it should delete. So if I want to, let's say I am running this application and if I select this, I want to cancel this leave before updating this. Okay, we are yet to submit the data to the patch. Okay, we have not yet submitted. We will submit that. I'll show you how to the data to the source, not the patch, but by using the patch function and all, we will do that. Right. So here I wanted to delete this request, or let's say I wanted to delete the first request. You can select that, and the way we have given the control here, data table 2 dot selected record, we are supposed to remove by using the remove function. I deleted that. The sooner you click on this, it deletes and it pick the new one. right? So let's say this is the remove. Then you may want to use, okay, let me zoom in. You may want to use the plus icon. So I will say add icon, and I just wanted to use where it is. Okay. So you may want to add the data, or you may want to add request. In that case, you are supposed to navigate to the screen one, right? Let me save the application and run this. Okay. So if you want to add the new request, I can say, but I can do a button and all, and then I can add here, and then I'm going to, let's say this is okay, and this is a demo add. Okay. I will say this is okay, and this is navigating to the view. Demo ad is getting added here, right? So with respect to the collection, with respect to the collection, we saw how to add the item to the collection. We saw how to update the records in the collection. We saw how to remove the data from the collection, right? Now you may want to filter the data from the collection, from the collection. So you can filter it based on the data source. You can apply the filter here. Okay, so my bad, and the screen size is too much small. I selected data table. So if you want to get the filter the data here, okay, like filter, okay, my leave request, and the leave date, okay, leave date is greater than or is equals to today cannot be there, meaning people should not be able to submit the data for the past dated. To make sure that, what I'm doing is I'm using greater than or is equals to today, right? And if I submit the data, if someone submit the data for the past date, this collection will get filtered and it will not be able to submit this, or you will not be able to edit the past dated. Okay, you will be able to submit because we are going to submit the data from batch. Okay, so let me click on this. This is getting very small. Okay, fine. And this internal window should be like this only. This is sufficient size, right? So this is you are able to filter, right? You are able to filter. Even you can use the search function also. But fine, I don't want to filter anything at, with this moment. So I will simply use everything. But I try to use the date above and today. So you will be able to submit that. Even you can use that condition. Okay, so while you can use that condition while submitting data, past dated records cannot be submitted, or you cannot submit a leave for the past date, right? So this is all these things we done on this. Okay, so now I would like to say whatever is there. Okay, whatever is there in the data table 2, I would like to add that to the source. I would like to add to the source. So we can do that one also, right? So I will add the button. So I'm selecting button here. Where is the button? Okay, here it is. Let me take down. Okay, and here on select I would like to patch. So obviously we are going to patch and new item, right? Because we are not submitting a form here, we are submitting a data from collection, right? So what is the record? What is the source? Record has to be patched. So here I will use, so office form table, right? And I will say default, because we are going to add new record. We are going to add new record. Default is office form tables, right? And then update. Okay. So you are going to say email ID is equals to the this unit, and this item is not going to work, but I can say data table 2 dot selected dot email, right? And once update and everything is finalized, okay, even I can say employee ID is equals to data table 2 dot selected dot employee ID, right? Then date leave date is equal to data table 2 dots dot selected dot leave date, right? Again, the next is like employee ID, leave date, email done. Reason for leave is even data table 2 dot selected. So if you want to add one by one record from the collection, from the collection, even reason and the name we are missing, so name is like data table 2 dot selected dot the name. This is what the record I would like to add or patch to the source from this button, right? So now let me go here. I will say add leave request, right? So this is what the button I'm using to add the leave request. Fine. And here what I will do, I will, if I run this, okay, what will happen, you can see that this is going to add. But once I add this record, they should get removed from my collection, because if I submit the data to the source, they should not be remain in this, right? So I can do this using the remove method. The remove method is we already used. Remove my leave request, and the item is data table do dot selected. That's it, right? So first it should submit the data to the source. Let me save, and then it should delete. So in the same order, I supposed to write a function, right? So now I selected this demo ad or this one. Okay. I will say add leave request. Okay, you can see it is doing something. It got deleted from the collection and it got added to this source. Right. This is how it works. Yeah, this is fine. This is what I wanted to show you. You are able to select the items, and you are able to remove it. You are able to add the, or you are able to submit the final request. You are able to review the request. You are able to update the due date and all. Even if you want to add, you can go to the add. Now if I go to the add, okay, and here I will create few more requests. Let's say this is a 13 dated test 1. Again I will come, and this is what I will say 10th of December. This is what the test 2 reasons and all. So you can see I have added two more items to the collection. Now I would like to add everything. Okay, this is what the one which is going to add one by one. This is what the one which is going to add one by 1. I wanted to add everything, meaning all the items. So here, instead of this, I will say add selected request, or instead of add, I will say submit selected request. This is what the button this is going to do. So now if I use this, I want to do this for, okay, submit all. So I copied this button and I'm going to change the properties. So select, instead of selected, I will say submit all requests. Right. And now how this is going to work. My collection has multiple items. My collection has multiple items. It has 4 rows. If I go to here, you can see. And I wanted to submit all these in one go. You cannot, but you can go one by one. So you are supposed to loop through the data, loop through the table, loop through the collection, right? And you are supposed to loop. You should use the for all function here. For all function here. Now we are not going to submit the data based on the selected items from the table 2. Instead of that, we will be using the this record. So, or this for all function. So if I say for all, okay, my source is my source is uh, office forms table 1. Sorry, we are going to loop through the collection. So I will say this, and then you should write the formula. Right, it is going through the all the things. Okay, so I'm going to patch this table, and this is the default table. But here I would say, instead of, because we are going to loop it, so I will say this. Okay, so this is not coming. Okay, so we are going to loop through this collection. It is fine. We are going to patch this. Okay, and email, even this is not showing the for all. Okay, so let me write everything from the scratch. We are using for all function, has some invalid arguments. No, and I will say patch. The record should go to the office table, right? And then since we are submitting the new data, so I will say same inside the default, source inside the default. And now, yes. Now I should say employee ID is equal to this record dot employee ID. So instead of selected, we're supposed to use this email is equals to this record, because this record is going to refer the each iterated record. This is the email, and even if I say leave date is equals to this record dot leave date, right? Employee ID done. Let's say name is equals to this record dot name. Okay, and the last one is reason for leave is this record dot leave reason, and the bracket complete. This is where the patch is getting completed, and I should say this, right? So this is how for all items from the collection, this function should be executed. So whatever the number of items are there, since I have 4, so that patch function will be executed for 4 times. Okay. And sooner it gets submit, so what I can do is, even, okay, after the patch, give the comma and say remove remove my collection request, and the item is like his record, right? Because this should remove the record once it gets added. So this is how we should use, or we should work with the collection in Power Apps. Let me run this application. So I have a 4. I'm not going to add new, but yes. So what I will do is, I will simply say add all submit request. It is running. You can see the 4.45 dots are working. Okay. This got, it is removing one by one all the records from collection, and yes, it got added to the here. Right. This is what exactly I wanted to do. Right. So with respect to the CRUD operation, data review, we discussed how to work with the collection. So how to create the collection, how to add the item to the collection, how to view the items, how to modify the items, meaning how to update the items, and how to remove the items, even how to do this operation with the all the items from the collection, is what the purpose of this video. Thank you so much for watching the video. Have a nice day. Happy learning. Do not forget to subscribe WebChamp and learn the technology easily. Thank you.